Hi, so this is a video on how to complete the assessment for the qualitative report for the degree. So go into your Canvas site, click on the week 7 assessment link. In there it's got the groups. I've already put yours in there. Okay, these are the different ones. You could choose one of these, so I've chose to go for the Yr2 one. So I've brought that up and there it is there. Okay, so have a quick read. Okay, and you'll notice when you scroll down you get to your first little task. Okay, so this one is you have been asked to find out fans' opinion about Yr2 and its use in football. Using academic literature, identify a minimum of 5 appropriate topics. Look at other video refereeing technology within sports. Okay, so for this one you need to get your 5 sources, right? So there's a link on there as well that can help you out. Okay, so other than that, simply go into your internet, go into Google and basically type in things like Yr research. Okay, and what you'll see is first thing that comes up is something like that. Okay, so click on there and there's one piece of research straight away. Okay, other things to look at is how technology works in other sports and whether it is successful or not. Okay, so for instance that one there, little headline saying it's 98.9% accurate. So that's the first part. It's worth 10 marks, 5 sources and a little bit about what each source is. Okay, for the next part, okay, so as again when you scroll down, you will need to complete this little task, okay, to describe the benefits and drawbacks using open questions. Describe the benefits and drawbacks using closed questions. Identify the types of questions that you plan to use. Okay, so on here, I want to see examples of the good points about what an open question is and what a closed question is. Okay, so in other words, closed, you may be able to get quick information. Open questions, you may be able to get more detailed information rather than just a yes/no answer. Okay, so again, worth 10 marks, so to complete that. The next part is where you decide what questions you're going to ask. Okay, so there's some information to read there about what your questions. Okay, and what you obviously need to do is think about different questions around about what fans think of Yr and whether it's working or not. Okay, so read these statements here. Okay, what we need to do is put them into an order which sort of makes sense. So start off with asking maybe more closed questions, and then maybe start to expand it to find out exactly what you want to know. Okay, try and keep the sentences down to less than 20 words, so it doesn't get too much. Don't want to ask 2 questions in one as well. Okay, so there you develop at least 10 questions. It might be more. Okay, you can put them into what's called modules. So if you have 2 or 3 questions that say the same thing, they could be a part of a module, which is, you might say you might have 3 questions that follow on from each other and the next 3 questions that follow on from each other. Okay, so try and get at least 10 questions, okay, that get as much information as what you possibly can. Okay, once you've done that, the next part is to carry out the interviews. Okay, so obviously you've got a number of people in your group. There's at least 3 people in your group. So each person needs to do at least 1 interview, possibly 2 interviews with football fans. So you complete them. What you need to do is you need to have a recorder. So generally on your phone, use a recorder. You need to record that interview. Once you've recorded it, you need to keep that evidence, okay? And then you need to just transcribe it. In other words, you write down the person's responses to what you asked. The next part is to what's called code your questions, right? So you're going to look at the responses, okay, and you're going to start to make up some codes for general responses. So, for example, there might be things on here. A lot of them thought the decisions took too long. Some of them thought it might be about right. Different things, okay, that come out in your answers. Okay, so what you need to put down there is you might get like 5 or 6 people or thought it took far too long for each VAR decision to be made. You might think about things like overturning decisions. You might disagree with some of them, or some people might have found that they disagreed with quite a lot of the decisions. So you're going to put your responses down there to the questions. You may have 8 to 10 of these overall, okay, and you code them into numbers, okay. So for that response, you would put them code into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, and you wouldn't specifically say how many people said that. You would just generally state that these were your findings within your interview questionnaires. Okay, and the last part. So once we've done that, you know what your method is. Okay, so this is where you can state what you have basically done. Okay, so remember it's in the third person. So state what has been done in your method. So talk about doing the interviews, planning them, coding them, and how you wrote them up. Okay, and the last thing is to display your results of the actual findings and discuss. All right. So for instance, you can display these in graphs if you want, or statements, but obviously we can chat about that over the messenger section or on the conference call, and we can talk about how you're going to do it. Overall, you get 100 marks. Okay, so what you can obviously do now is get in your groups and start to discuss the first part of them and how you're going to proceed.